love.
Hey guys, today I'm going to be comparing two guys who are widely regarded as being among the two very best guards in the NBA today, and they are Russell Westbrook and James Harden. Russell Westbrook has just finished his 8th NBA regular season, and when looking at his accolades, it's pretty impressive. He is a 5-time NBA All-Star, 2-time NBA All-Star Game MVP, 4-time All-NBA second team, 1-time NBA scoring champion, and in his rookie year, he made the rookie all-first NBA team. Now looking at James Harden, he went to Arizona State University from 2007 to 2009 for 2 years, and then he was drafted in the 2009 NBA draft 3rd overall by the OKC Thunder. So as you can see, Harden was just drafted by the same team as Westbrook just 1 year later. And Harden's list of accolades is nothing to sneeze at. He is a 4-time NBA All-Star, 2-time All-NBA First Team, 1-time All-NBA Third Team, NBA Sixth Man of the Year in 2012, and NBA All-Rookie Second Team. Now when comparing their stats, I'm just going to use the most recent year, the 2015 to 2016 season. Why? Because we can all pick and choose which year we want to compare, but just to be fair, I'm going to use this year. And I also do believe that each player had their best career year this year. So with Russell Westbrook, the guy averaged 23.5 points on 45% shooting and 29% from threes. He shot 81% from the free throw line. He averaged 10.4 assists and 2 steals. And I think a lot of guys this year were really shocked and impressed with Russell Westbrook's assist averages this year at 10.4, because he has this label to be a very selfish one-on-one hero ball type of player who dominates the ball and doesn't really want to share it and looks to score his own. But that's not really true. If you really watch him play, I think the reason that he has this label on him is because of the ridiculous amount of turnovers this guy averages per game. He averages 4.3 turnovers per game, which is good for second most in the NBA this year. Who is first? Well, we'll find out soon. Looking at James Harden's year, I think he had a very underrated year, and it was really overshadowed by the amazing year that Steph Curry had. James Harden averaged 29 points per game. He averaged 7.5 assists per game, 6.1 rebounds per game, 1.7 steals per game. He shot 44% from the field and 36% from threes, and he shot 86% from the free throw line. Those are not numbers to sneeze at. Those are not numbers that just anybody can achieve. Now, Russell Westbrook may average 4.3 turnovers per game, and that may be good for second most in the NBA. But as most of you probably guessed by now, James Harden led the NBA in turnovers per game with 4.6. And looking at some advanced stats this year, Russell Westbrook's true shooting percentage was 55%, his PER was 27.6, his assist percentage was 49.6%, his turnover percentage was 16.8%, and his usage percentage was 31.6%, and his wins shared was 14. Looking at James Harden's advanced stats this year, his true shooting percentage was 59.8%, which we can give him 60. His PER was 25.3, his assist percentage was 35.4, his turnover percentage was 15.9, his usage percentage was 32.5, and his wins shared was 13.3. Now, I know a lot of you are going to say, well, Russell Westbrook is a point guard, so yeah, he should average more assists per game than James Harden, who plays shooting guard. Well, I don't really buy into that, because James Harden, the offense runs through him. Essentially, he is the point guard. Patrick Beverley is there to play perimeter defense next to James Harden. He's not there to operate the offense and run it through him. It's there to run through James Harden. Now, looking at it from a statistical standpoint, I'm going to have to give the edge here to Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook is a phenomenal athlete. He's not as efficient or as good a scorer as James Harden is. That was evident this year. However, I do believe he gets his teammates involved far more, and that, combined with the fact that he can score almost at will, puts him a little bit above James Harden for me. And as we all know, stats are not the end-all be-all of the story when it comes to an athlete. There are so many more ways an athlete can impact the game, impact his team, impact the franchise. Look at a guy like Jason Kidd. His numbers are not mind-blowing. However, everyone knows that the impact that he has on the game goes far beyond whatever number that he puts up on the box score. Now, speaking of that, I would also have to give this an edge to Russell Westbrook, because there are reports of James Harden and his teammates not exactly being on the same page. There are reports that they complained to their coach, or they complained to the media, that James Harden is very, very difficult to play with because he tends to dominate the ball, dribble, and then when he can't find his own shot, he'll give it to somebody else with not much time left, and that doesn't really help the offense flow. It doesn't help the offense move. And yeah, while you can get away with that in the regular season, as we see, they consistently lose in the first round of the playoffs. The Houston Rockets do. Outside of last year, that I believe they lost every year in the first round when they had James Harden. Now, is it all on James Harden? No, it is not. I mean, Russell Westbrook has Kevin Durant, and no, James Harden does not have anybody of Durant's caliber. However, there is something to be said of a leader who makes his teammates around him better, and James Harden just falls short in that category to me compared to Russell Westbrook. Now, Russell Westbrook is not the best teammate in the world, don't get me wrong. I mean, he averages 4.3 turnovers per game, which is very, very bad. Now, I don't have facts. I mean, I don't know them personally. I don't know what's going on in their head. I haven't talked to their coaches. I'm not a reporter, and I haven't talked to them at all before. So, I mean, take this with a grain of salt, but I can comment on my opinion and on what a lot of people do believe. And a lot of people believe that James Harden is a ball stopper, a guy who likes to play hero ball, and those guys are very, very, very difficult to play with because they don't tend to share the ball. Their first option is to look to score themselves, and when they can't, they will pass it off to somebody else. Now, does Russell Westbrook do that? Yeah, he does sometimes. However, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinions, he is just doing what he can to win the game. Now, what does that mean? That means that whether it's him getting a shot open or him finding an open teammate, whatever is the better option, whatever he believes is the better option, is what he's going to do. Now, a lot of times that does tend to be him looking to get his own shot because he's just that explosive and dominant. However, he still did average 10.4 assists per game, which is very, very impressive. As most of you already know, in 2011, James Harden won the NBA Sixth Man of the Year, and he became the second youngest ever player to win that award. And he was a very, very important. He was a key part to the Oklahoma City Thunder run to the finals, where they eventually lost to LeBron and the Miami Heat. Now, the following season, the OKC Thunder had Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Serge Ibaka. They had to get rid of one of them because they didn't want to pay all of them the type of money that they deserved, or that they would find on the free agent market. So what happened was, after the 2011 season, the Oklahoma City Thunder attempted to sign Harden to a 4-year contract extension worth between about $52 and $55 million. Obviously, that didn't pan out. And the Thunder felt that since they already had Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant on the perimeter, they felt they needed to keep the big man instead of shipping away James Harden. I mean, I don't think anybody would agree that was the right move now, looking in hindsight. But, I mean, who isn't right in hindsight, right? Now, while financial reasons played a very, very large role in the decision to retain Serge Ibaka rather than James Harden, there have been reports that the Thunder may have traded away James Harden instead of Serge Ibaka because James Harden's off-the-court life was very, very wild. I mean, there are reports that when he was in the finals with the OKC Thunder going up against the Miami Heat, that he would stay out late partying. And while that is cool, I mean, that's his own life, but he has a job to do, and as his boss, I would be very, very worried and disappointed in his actions to put himself in a position to be distracted or to even potentially be unable to play the game. Now, James Harden did not play well in that series. His team lost in 5 games, and he averaged 12.4 points per game on 37.5% shooting, down from his regular season numbers of 16.8 points per game and 49% shooting. And though there weren't many publicized rumors about Harden partying in Miami and South Beach during that series in the finals, there were reports in the 2014 playoffs that he was partying during the playoff run with the Rockets, where they did lose in the first round to Portland in 6 games. Now, I know a lot of you are going to say this is just a video for me to bash on James Harden, and that's not really what it's about. But I think it does say something when a guy like Russell Westbrook, you try and look for dirt on him and you can't find anything. Whereas a guy like James Harden, you don't go looking for dirt, but you'll find it. And I think that really speaks to not how well they play the game, but in terms of how valuable they are. Don't get me wrong, I think James Harden is a phenomenal player. I actually think he's underrated. I really do. But I'm going to have to give the edge here to Russell Westbrook. These guys are both in my top 10 NBA players in today's game, but I will have to give the edge to Russell Westbrook. I think he's a better player, and I do think I would rather have him over James Harden starting my franchise. And thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe and check my channel for more comparison videos with NBA, MLB, and NFL players, along with various other gameplays.